Hello everyone. I hope you guys are doing well and having a great Thursday. I'm just jumping on here. Today we're going to work on our easel cards that were our August thank you. And so I wanted to show you a couple different versions before I jumped in and taught you how to do it. But before we get started, let's go ahead and pray and then we'll jump in. Lord God, I just thank you for today. Lord, I thank you for this chance for us just to create a little bit and to have some fun. And Lord, I hope that this just meets everybody where their need is, Lord, that they can just relax and enjoy the process, Lord, and just get to play a little bit. Just give me wisdom and help me to speak correctly, Lord, and for everything just to go smoothly, we pray. In your precious and holy name, amen. Okay, so what we're creating today, you can kind of see how I did it here on this one, but what we're creating are our easel cards. And so we're going to be using the Fluffy Squirrel stamp set, so I wanted to show that to you. But I wanted to show you just a couple of the other ways that I was able to do this. And so here are just some fun options of how you'd be able to create and what you'd be able to create with. I know many of you guys loved all the different Christmas options or just different options that we had out there. This is not, obviously, the Fluffy Squirrel is not a Christmas option. This is our fall, but you can take it beyond there. So we're making some cards for fall, but we're also, I know everybody's trying to get their Christmas collections done. And so this would be a good way to kind of take what I'm showing you and be able to create and send these. Now, one thing I did want to show you, you can see these are very thin. So these are going to go in a standard envelope. You're not going to have to pay extra postage or any of that. Now, depending on if you put extra layers of foam underneath or added in something different, that may address it or change it up a little bit. But it's a really cute way just to create a quick card. It really takes very little of the DSP. It just takes some cardstock base, and even if you use like regular even if you use like a regular card base, you'd be able to go with it. But I love the different colors by just using cardstock as our base. And the 8.5 by 11 cardstock is perfect because you can just make it into two. So you're just going to cut it in half long ways at 4.25 by 11. And so that will give you two card bases, and then you're able to create two different cards. And then you're just using a little bit of DSP, and then here you can see this is where you're going to write your message to them, and then they can kind of set this up on a mantle or someplace like that and be able to see the message that was there without everybody reading anything that you wanted to say. Okay, so in case you wanted to say something a little bit personal or not, but that's still going to be shown. So that's kind of what I just wanted to show you today. Just a very fun, quick, it will just stand up on its own. Fun design, I guess you could say. And I love here, of course, with the dog. I just think that that's awesome. So, but yeah, you guys can get to play with this. This one was just used with the little punch outs or die cuts that comes with the paper. And this was used with the paper here, but the die cuts match the paper. And so we're able to cut that out with the paper, which is really cool and fun. This is also using a stamp set here and then doing some of the die cutting. But today, what I want to do, what we're really going to focus on is we're going to focus on learning the card, but also how to use the stamps and the punches if you choose to do that to kind of get a little bit of different definition, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear those off, and we're going to kind of leave these here so you can see them. I'm going to bring in the papers that were cut. And this is basically, I'm just going to show you one card because they're all the exact same, okay? But I wanted to show you how I created it, what we're doing, so that if you want to take this design and make some others like Christmas ones like we talked about, you could easily do. So I had already cut up the Early Espresso cardstock for you. So this was the 4.25 by 11. And as you can see, it's already scored in half. Hopefully you can see that. There you go. So that would be at your 5.5. That's going to be half, right? But I'm going to put it back in my trimmer, and I wanted to show you this. And I'm going to use the scoring function that we're going to have here, and we're going to score it at 7.5. I'm sorry, 7.75. And if you're like me, I have to put my cutting blade towards the bottom, or else I'm going to use it every time. And you've seen me do that a few times. So, and I just go back and forth because I want to make sure I get a really good imprint. So I press down as I'm doing it. Then I'm just going to bring that in here. And I'm sorry, I know we're seeing some of the glare. I'm trying to cover up some of the glare, but okay. So if you have a bone folder, this is going to be really, really helpful. to take a bone folder or some kind of real straight edge tool that you could use just to kind of get a crisp close there. And then I'm going to fold this up and do the same thing, just a nice crisp close. Okay. And then we've got this here, and we're going to do like the real basic parts first, and then I'm going to show you some of the things with the stamping. Okay. So what we've got here is we're just going to go ahead and with your papers that I had sent, you've got two sides. You can use either side for whatever you want. This would be really pretty as well as the, on this side, but I'm going to keep it real fun and fallish, but you could use that for like almost like even a wedding announcement or something like that. I think this one doesn't really speak a lot of fall to me, but it's beautiful. Okay, so I'm just going to do this. And you've got lots of options in the kits that I sent you. Or if you're creating this for, Christmas, just change it up. You can cut them all and then kind of change it up as you go. Now, as I'm laying this down, I'm just trying to get a very good, just an even border around my card base so that the early espresso can kind of shine through. So there, that's the base, okay? Super easy like we saw. All right, then you're going to you should have some of these pieces of cardstock here, which are 4x3s. We're just going to put this here, and again, same thing. I'm trying to give myself the same distance on the sides and at the very top where it folds. So I'm just going to put that down first. And as we all know, my eyeball is just not, for whatever reason, I tend to get things very crooked. So hopefully that's not. Okay, so there we go. Now, you've got two of these white pieces, and then you've got a gold. The larger of the white is going to go center into the gold. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that down. And actually, if you don't want to put it down yet, you don't have to. That way, if you want to kind of cut off the edges, you can. So just put that to the side. I guess that's a better way of saying that. And then we're just going to stamp. As you can see, I've already got my sentiment on here for the Go Nuts. Again, I'm just using my fluffy squirrel stamp. But I just kind of wanted you to see, what you could do, that kind of thing. And here you can see I've got a little piece sticking out. I've got some extras in there so that I can just pull those out at any time. But you can say, go nuts, it's your birthday. May you gather happiness, like any of these, or if you have another sentiment stamp set that you want to use, you could do that. And then what we're going to do with that, once you get that stamped, is we're just going to set it right here, kind of centered, but a little bit lower. So centered left to right, but a little bit lower on the page, or in that opening, I should say. Okay, and then as you'll see, just like that, it's going to hold itself, especially if you've got a good crease here. It's going to help hold itself up, and this is going to allow it to go. Now, as you can see right now, it's popping up a little bit, which is okay. Once we put this heaviness on there, it's going to pull it down just a little bit, but it doesn't even matter. That's really what we're going for, right? So we've got that part done. So really, really easy card base to put together, okay? So then let's go ahead, and that is trying to stick, which is okay, but I just don't need it to yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about stamping. Now, I'm going to bring in my stamping platform, especially if you're trying to do a lot of these at once. This is a great way to do it. If you're not, then you don't need to do it this way, but I still like to do it a lot of times when I do stamping, just because, especially if there's like a two-step stamp, it's going to help me line it up. So let me explain to you a little bit about what I did. All right, so in your pack, you should have these little squares that I went ahead and I punched out the designs, and that's just using the punch that comes in the bundle if you get the bundle. And let me just say as well, I know you might be thinking like, okay, it's a cute squirrel. Squirrels aren't my thing, but it's cute, I want you to think as well about this squirrel. I mean, as you can see, it's got something like it's holding in its hands, and we're going to put in the little acorn. But you could also use this for like a birthday where it's bringing in a birthday present, and it even has that here. It has like a little gift in here. So obviously it doesn't cut that part out for you, but that's a quick, easy, fussy cut, I guess you could say. But you could do this for like a baby shower. You could do this for Easter, for spring. You could use this for so many different things. So try and think outside the box. Even though I'm using it for fall, try and think outside the box of just fall, because there's so much here you can do. All right, when I use my Misty, what I like to do is as I showed you, I punch these out and I like to put them in the corners. That way, if this should get picked up for any reason as I'm stamping, or if it gets moved, I always know it's going to be all the way in the corners for what I'm trying to do. And then I just cut out, again, punched out, I guess is a better way of saying it, using the punch. I just punched out these out of the white. And I'm just going to go ahead and put these in. Now, the first stamp we're going to do is going to be over here. And let me even start out by saying this. So as I'm getting it set up, what I would do is I would take my stamp and I would just lay it on top of the white to make sure that everything is there and that I can see it and it's where I want it to be. Okay, and I already did that over here for this one, but I will show you real quickly, because I've got to close it anyway in order for it to pick it up, because now it's just as I close it, it's going to pick it up here, right? And it took the white with it, but that's okay. I'm just going to lay it back down. That's again why having this holder is helpful. So if it does pick it up, or if I'm trying to change it out, you know, all the times that I've already punched it out and try and put more in there, I don't have to line it up every time. I've got this piece here, and then I just need to put those in its place. For this one here, what I want to show you is when you're trying to do it by hand, if you do it by hand, and again, I apologize for the glare, but if you're trying to do it by hand, I don't know how to get rid of that glare for y'all. The thing I want to show you is right here. You can see there's a little bit of the belly hanging out. And at first I thought, oh, I didn't line that up correct, but actually it's because squirrels have a white belly, right? So look here at this design. You can see it has a white belly here. It kind of comes up, and then there's a little bit of white here. That is actually correct. So what you want to pay attention to when you're trying to line it up is going to be your ear, okay, and the eyes. So you technically would not need another one here, but I wanted to show you where that, like how it fits in there, okay? So, but you could do them at the same time. It's totally up to you, but to me it just makes sense to do the outline first and then the color. That's just me. You do it however you want, okay? So what you're going to do is I'm going to take the Early Espresso ink pad, and I'm just going to open this up, and I'm going to just ink it up on my little squirrel. I want to say bunny, but we know that it's not a bunny, it's a squirrel. I'd love to know what kind of animal or critter you guys like, that you like to kind of watch for and are looking forward to. I know, you know, the cow that we had previously was really, really cute. A lot of people love the cow. So that works really, really well. And now we've got a squirrel, and there's some other critters coming. We've done the mushroom, or toadstool, I guess is the new proper way of saying it. All right, so now what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna clean off that stamp. If I was gonna do a lot at once, I probably wouldn't. But because I'm just doing the one right now to show you, I'm gonna go ahead and clean him off just because I know myself, and I know that I'm gonna get myself dirty if I don't. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is first, before I even ink up my squirrel, I'm just gonna lay this on top, and I wanna make sure that everything fit exactly where I wanted it to, and it does. And the purpose for that is, again, just the lining, but it should line up because, again, we're using this base. It's exactly the same as this one, right? I already lined it up previously, and so everything should be fine. Now, I am not going to color this, so it was silly of me to put that back in, but I'm just showing you how you can move things over. So I'm going to take that out just so it doesn't get in my way. I've got my squirrel back in place, and now I want to pay attention to the inside piece, okay? Now, what I love about this is, and here it is right here for us to look at. You can see that you're going to get some of the dimension of the way that they drew it when you go to make the stamp. I love, like, you're going to get all of those little, like, fur pieces or white pieces there. I think that's, you know, just a really fun thing to do, and I love that in just a what could be considered as a flat stamp. That kind of gives it that 3D option. but we're actually going to take it and go one step further. So we're going to use the pecan pie, and you could just press it with your ink pad and then make your impression like we normally do. But I'm going to just show you a little bit different of a way that you could do it so that you can get more of a two-tone color, kind of like this one is here, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm just taking a blending, it's not really a blending brush, but a sponge tool, or you can use any of those. The blending brush doesn't give you quite as much control in what we're trying to do, but use whatever you have, a sponge dauber, any of that. And I'm taking the color and I am just going around all of the outside edges, and I'm bringing it down in his face. This is going to give me a little bit more control about where my color is, and I'm intentionally leaving some of the part down here, right here, a little bit more light. So again, I'm getting a little bit more of that dimension. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my squirrel is in place where I want him to be. I keep saying squirrel. Sorry. Well, yeah, it is a squirrel. Oh, okay. See, I'm finding myself now. Squirrel, bunny, all the things. And I'm just going to press it down and then lift up. And then I can look at it and say, oh, that's fun, but that's really light. So let me add some more color, right? And if I wanted a really light one, I could do that. So again, I go back to the sponge dauber and I just bring in a little bit more color. And again, this is really fun to do and easy, much easier to do within Misty than it is if you're trying to do it by hand and then make sure it's lined up every time the exact same way. I can go in and change it as many times as I want when I do it like this with a Misty. So this has just become a very fun, easy tool. It's not something that Stampin' Up! Sells, but it's something that's been very helpful for me as I'm scrapbooking, if just to make sure that I'm on top of it like I need to be and can watch and see what I'm doing. All right, so there you go. There is your squirrel. So very easy. It took me a little bit more time just to talk about it than it did to actually do it. And that's done. So if I wanted to, I could go ahead and just do over and over and over again as many as I wanted. All right, so here is our little acorn. And what we're going to do with the acorn is we're actually going to color him in with markers. Again, same thing. You could stamp it and be good to go, but actually the stamp just does the outline. It doesn't do like the inside. So if you were going to stamp that, I would almost say to stamp it with like a on top of a different color cardstock, and then you wouldn't have to do a whole lot to it. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually bring in some of our markers. And so I've got a couple different options here. Let me pull these out real quick so you can see them. Okay, so these are stamping blends. Okay, and so what I did was, I want to make sure I tell you the right ones that I got. This is, where is it? Where does it say it? The ivory, and then it's SU 100. So basically, like, this is a medium dark, and it's all of this is on your paper as well. But you can also use the Stampin' Rights, and this is pecan pie that I'm using here. And what I like about these is this allows you to, it doesn't bleed through, so it doesn't matter since I'm doing this, but because it's not attached to my paper, but if I was doing it on a piece of paper and you were going to see the back side of it, you would absolutely see the color come through if I use these and not so much this, okay? These, I will say, Stampin' Up! Isn't going to no longer carry, and so if you like to write in different colors, this is going to be much easier for writing, where these are going to be more for coloring. But in this instance, what we're trying to do is very small, not a big issue at all. So you could do whatever you want. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the colors on each of these. Okay, so that's pecan pie. This is the ivory that we talked about just a second ago, and you can see that one's really light. And these really were made more for like skin tones, that kind of thing. But I think that they work really, really well for, trying to do like woods or outdoors type themes. So for this one, this was my close to the espresso. So this is what I'm going to use here. And since I'm right in here, I'm just going to do it. And I'm just coloring it in. You can use either tip. I think on the other one, I ended up using the other tip. This is more of the bullet point, but it's, again, such a small space, it really doesn't matter. Okay, and then Again, you can use either piece that you want. I think the ivory is a little too light for me, so for this one I'm just going to go in and use the toffee or the pecan pie. Sorry, it will always probably be toffee to me because that's just what it looks like. And I'm just filling it in. All right. Okay, so any of those that you have, play with the colors, play with the markers that you have. Any of them will work. But again, that's just what I chose to do. And I'll show you the back side. See how you can't see where the Stampin' Write was, but you can see where the alcohol, the Stampin' Blends is on the back side. So that's just something to kind of keep notice of when you're coloring and when you're going to be using something. If you're trying to show the back side of it, like a lot of times we would do it on a card front, we might stamp and then color it. You will see it on the inside of the card. So it's better when you're using these to have it on a side piece that you can then attach. Okay, so super easy for that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in some of our extra pieces. Okay, so I had sent with you some of these fun little decals. And these are like the vines and the branches. You should have some long ones. I'm looking in my stash because I think the little ones got lost. But you should also have some little ones that you can see kind of what, the little ones being these right here, these little branches. And all of those I got from the branched out die set. Let me show you that one real quick. I really like this set because it's got these little branches here. It's got the long branch. You're also getting like the little pine cone, but you're getting all of these decorative pieces. And I've talked to you guys in the past about how I love these decorative pieces to be able to use for, you know, cutting for cards or for titles or for, you know, my layouts. That's something that can go a really long ways. All right, so let me take care of those, but just so you know kind of where I got the pieces from. So mine have decided to take a vacation and step away, so I don't have them right now to show you these, but you can do this however you want. And I think I'm just going to go rogue and kind of change it up a little bit. Now these are the easiest to me when I use a liquid adhesive because they're so fine. So I would recommend that. So just if you have a liquid adhesive, I was thinking I would put it on like a the adhesive sheets before I cut these out for you all, but they're so fine and to come out, I was afraid the adhesive backing might pop out when I was trying to transport it to you. Okay, and I don't know where my tweezers went, so we're gonna go rogue. All right, so I'm just going to, you could start and have it go off the top, but I'm just gonna bring it all the way down. Again, I'm just changing this up a little bit. Do this however you like. Okay. Just like that. And I'm pressing it down onto my glass mat after I put my adhesive, but that's the beauty of the glass mat. I don't have to worry about it so much, so I do love that. All right, let me bring in these. All right. And this I can use on the inside of my card. I love to use like all my little pieces, so think about that as you're creating. And I had it go all the way to the end and I just cut it right off there at the end. You can do it however you want, okay? But that's how I chose to do it. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab my squirrel and I'm gonna put just a little bit of liquid adhesive on his hands and then put the acorn in there so it's holding on. All right, and then I'm just going to turn them over for a second, okay? Now what we want to do is we're going to take just our foam tape. Now when you're using your foam, the thing to think about with this is you want to be able to put foam where like all around it so you're getting like the head and everything sticking up like you need to. If you need to cut some of these in half, like for his feet, feel free. I'm going to do it like... cut a little of this in half. All right, there. I'm gonna put a little bit behind the acorn just because he's holding the acorn. Let's hold that up, right? All right. Now notice though, I'm not going to put any here in the center. Let me show you that real quick. I'm not going to put any here in the center. The reason being, we're going to put some of our twine there, and I want to make sure that that does not come out and that I can play with it a little bit. So, and that it's not going to make it stick up too much. So by doing that, I'm going to take this. You should have this in your stash. You can use it. I sent this one. I love it. This is no longer available. A great alternative if you're wanting to make more and you're liking this one. What actually comes or is shown with the squirrel is going to be like this. Oh, it's a, let me give you the name, irregular weave. This is called open weave, and then this is irregular weave. So they're very similar. The only thing is this is probably more of a natural, and this is more of like the gold. So it's, you know, the natural obviously is going to work really, really well with the fall papers, but you could use it for Christmas or for anything else as well. So the way I do this is I just wrap it around my hands, or around my hand, I guess you should say. So I have that each end at one side, and then I'm going to twist it. Okay, by twisting it, I kind of get that bow look almost, but I can also pull it out. I'm not looking for a bow, just so you know. But by just twisting it, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get me a center point that I can put in the middle of the belly that's going to hold on tight, okay? So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of my adhesive, and I'm taking a tape adhesive, not a liquid, because I want to make sure that, again, it's got something that it's immediately tacky and can hold on to. I got a little of that there, so okay. So then I'm just going to lay this. Let me turn him right side over so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to kind of lay that in him, in his belly. And then you can have it go however you want. If you wanted to, you could take this side and tuck it back in so it's not hanging out. So we'll kind of see what that looks like. But that's going to go about right there. Okay? And I actually like it hanging out. But if I need to tuck it up and shorten it a little bit, I can. So I still have that playroom, right? Okay, so I like that. What we're going to do now is, before I attach him, we're going to go ahead and attach this backing. Just centered here. If you did not already put adhesive on like I did at the beginning, then go ahead and do that. All right, so this came out, so I'm just going to twist it again because I did not put it right down. That's the only reason why it came out. Once you put it right down, obviously it's not going to move. And then I'm just going to pull off the backing of my foam pieces. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about how these backing pieces are like everywhere in our homes, because especially if you're like me and I love to use them, they just follow you. They tend to be everywhere, right? All right, so let's kind of play with that a little bit, get that like I want it. And then we're just going to kind of lay him or set him down right here. And because of the foam tape, it's going to hold the bunny in place, and that's going to attach directly to the paper. But then this is going to give you a little bit more room to kind of adjust it if need be, okay? So we're just going to take that, and then we're just going to add this here. Now, when you go to add this, let me show you something really quickly. What we're going to do is we're going to flip this over so we're seeing the back, okay? Then you want to take a pencil and you just want to mark on the back just the bottom section for like where your fold is going to be on the Early Espresso. That's going to help you know where you're going to, you don't want to put adhesive above that line. And because this is an interactive card, I'm going to use the liquid adhesive, because that, once it's dry, it's not going to move, okay? So if it's something that's going to be pressed down or any of that, then that's something that you kind of want to pay attention to. Like what kind of adhesive you're going to use. I love my tape adhesive, especially for my scrapbook pages. But if I know something's going to be pulled on a little bit more, then I'm definitely going to use a liquid adhesive. And so I'm going to let that set there just for a minute. But as you can see, that's set, that's there, it's centered, he's good to go. We can name our squirrel if we want to, totally up to us. I've got this piece here that I can put inside, or I can just take some other parts outside. Now, I've talked to you guys before about my little contraption that I like to keep on my desk. And so sometimes when I'm creating, I'll just go through this and be like, okay, is there anything in here that I want to add? And, you know, this one is kind of big, so I don't know that that would be a good add, but I could absolutely do that. And it's going to go with the branches that are in the back, right? Let me see if I have anything different. Oh, I have a little one. Let's see what I think of that one. So play with, my point in saying this is play with what you have. You may decide, you know, you've got all of these things that you've cut out from before. I hate for them to go to waste. And this is honestly one of my most fun things to do is to put these to use. They don't just go with that paper pack. I'm trying to decide. I don't want it to look like it's just coming out of his tail, but I think that's cute right there. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to put my liquid adhesive on it just because it is fine. This is how I tend to just create from a lot of different sets, is by using my little thing here. And then every so often as it's getting full, which you can see right now, it's starting to get full, I'll go through it and I'll throw away anything that, you know, isn't going to work, that kind of thing. But I do love to be able to just go to this real quickly, especially when it comes to sprigs or things like that. So you've got that, and that matches obviously with the papers here. And so we're good to go. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to bring in our gems, our dots that I had sent. So go ahead and grab those, because you know everything needs a little bit of wow and bling. So you can choose to use any of the colors that you want. Here's what I had left over, but you guys were able to get these different colors. The only one that really was not a part of this set was the blue. So feel free to use any of these as you want. You can mix and match. You can do it however you want. I do feel like I need to bring in more of the espresso, even though it's on the back and it's the main color of the page. There's not a whole lot in this middle section except for that. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm just going to bring it in. And I like to overthink it, obviously. Oops. And I also like to just change the sizes. I think that adds a lot of definition. Now, typically I tell you to do 3, but because of all of the detail that we have, we're going to do 2 here that are offset and then 2 down here, just so that you can kind of see what all is there. You know, that it's kind of spreading the love, I guess you can say, but without having to do like 3 or 4 at a time. But odd numbers are really typically what we're looking for. But because I have this clump here, I can do that. And I could also just add one over here. So it kind of, this one would work for these 3 and kind of bring that down as well. So it kind of brings it across. Then we're going to fold it up. And then here you go. Here we have our title. So there, I'm just going to go ahead and add in some color. And that's going to bring this down here, so that you're getting your color continuing throughout your page. It's going to help draw all the colors together, especially since you've got these colors shining, or when you set it up, it's going to make it continue to go. And then I do like sometimes to kind of go off the edge of the paper. I think that helps. Again, just to kind of make the flow go a little bit better, but I do think I want that one lower. There we go. I think I like that better. All right. So there you go. Super easy, super fun. The big technique I wanted to show you was just going to be, how I was able to color the squirrel. And I need to put a little bit more adhesive there. You can see that. But how I colored the squirrel, because I just think that's super fun to be able to do and to kind of get dimension so that it doesn't look quite so flat. But again, I'll bring these back in so you can see some of our other options. I love being able to take something and use it across the board for so many different things. And I just feel like these are beautiful. I love the decor in this, like what it does. It can be playful. It can be dressed up. Obviously, the squirrel is playful as well. So I hope this has inspired you to play, to create, have fun with the squirrels, but also show me what else that you create, because I would love to see if you take this design and use it some other ways. So I will see you on Tuesday night as we go to make our fun layout using the same design, the same squirrel. It's a little nutty, ha ha ha, play on words, but I love it, and I think you guys are gonna too. So have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all later. Happy scrapping. Bye bye.